be starting on, what about Wonder Woman? You know, she can be seen. We're gonna kind of get into that, actually. Yes, Wonder Woman is an example of a typical female stereotype. Why? And I'm gonna get into that in just a second. AOC, I have a very specific topic that I want to bring up, and it's called women in refrigerators. We're going to talk about that in just one moment after we get through this next timestamp. So 10:1 is the timestamp on this next part of the video. So it's the same video that we had just watched. So the timestamp starts here at 10:01 and it runs to 10:40. So let's listen to what she has to say.
Think about damsel characters is deal what's called the subject-object dichotomy. In the simplest terms, subjects act and objects are acted upon. The subject is the protagonist, the one who the story is centered on and the one doing most of the action. In video games, this is almost always the main playable character and the one from whose perspective most of the story is seen. So the damsel trope typically makes men the subject of narratives while relegating women to the role of object. This is a form of objectification because as objects, damseled women are being acted upon, most often becoming or reduced to a prize to be won, a treasure to be found, or a goal to be achieved. The brief...
Okay, so we saw, based on what she saw, why examples of gender stereotypes might be harmful towards women in this context. Again, she's saying that when these stereotypes are reinforced, a woman is being reduced to a role of an object where she, like as we've said, yes, there are so many bookmarks, Gremlin. Yes, Shrek. Actually, no, that actually is a good example. Gremlin, that is a good example of a gender role. Shrek had to resist Princess. What's her name? Fiona. I think it's Fiona, right? I believe so. Okay, so as we've said, this in particular in, like, let's say the media, or yeah, let's say the media, because this isn't just video games. She's specifically focusing on video games here, but we can see how this translates to movies and comic books, because comic books, movies, and video games all exist in this visual medium, and they all require a plot or a story. So now we have our male protagonist acting upon the fact that his prized possession, a woman, has been captured, and she's been reduced to this state of helplessness, and it is now the male protagonist's job to go forth, defeat the bad guy, and rescue her and save her and restore her to her proper place, wherever that is. And that is seen as harmful to women because that paints them in their role of mere objects, as she said. So they're objects to be acted upon. It's a convenient plot device used to stir a male character to action and to save the day and win the prize. When women are reduced to objects, and then thereby depowering them. So now I have another timestamp that we're going to go on. We're going to jump to 11:24 now. So Vermo, you got a call. We have an incoming call. Then, if I am not mistaken, do we have a call? Princess Faldo? I don't know that one. Oh wait, no. Was that you, Vermo? No. Somebody else was wanting to call in. Who wanted to call in? Oh, so you download... Yeah, it was you, Vermo. You can't... without getting lost. Okay, so Vermo, after you've downloaded Discord, you should be able to join. You click on our server, which is the Masquerade server. If you type in Discord chat, I could say, like, hello here in chat. I can say hello. You can see right there in general chat under the text channels, me typing in chat. Also, if you head over onto the left-hand side, you'll see voice channels underneath text channels. You join voice channel, join general, and then a mod will pull you into another channel and screen you before we move in. And then, so now we have people chatting in Discord. So it's pretty easy to use. You have the channels on the left hand side, and you navigate the channels by clicking on them. So the general chat text channel is just text space only, where you type. You can upload files and share. If you want to call in, beneath the text channels on the left hand side, beneath that there's a place that says voice channels. Click on general. You'll link up to general. You'll be able to speak into your microphone and talk. That's how you're able to do it. So when you're ready for the call, let me know and we'll get you in and we can have that discussion that you want to discuss. But right now we're gonna move on to this second part where Anita Sarkeesian is talking about the male patriarchy, I believe. So this is at 11:24. Here's a timestamp, and it's going to go to 11:30. So this is only just a few seconds.
I've heard it said that in the game of patriarchy, women are not the opposing team; they are the ball.
Okay, so that is kind of like a poignant opinion. I think it was kind of actually, it's actually kind of what she said kind of makes sense in a figure of speech. So they don't leave. There's no room for character development for these female characters because of the fact that they've been robbed of their characters, because of the fact that they're no more than a device to be acted upon. As she said earlier, women are meant to be like looked at. They're an object. They're meant to be seen. They're not necessarily like when we're talking about objectification. You're distracted by the hoops. Yeah, she got big earrings. So a lot of people feel a lot of the argument is that these gender stereotypes are reinforcing those things, objectifying women and making it so that they don't have a lot of development. I think it's kind of a little bit redundant here. But then we talk about she goes on to elaborate just a little bit more. Just this is kind of reinforcing the point. So now we're at 1735, I believe. 1735 is the next part. Okay, 1735. What does she say?
Down to its essence, the plot device works by trading the disempowerment of female characters for the empowerment of male characters.
Okay, so as she said, females are being disempowered in order, again, she's just elaborating more points in the way, like how this happens. In all these games, women are robbed of their roles as heroes and placed in the victim status for men to come and rescue them, not allowing them to become heroes in their own right. And because they're robbed of the means of their own escape, they are robbed of becoming archetype heroes themselves. So that's how big I want my gauge. Oh goodness, that's pretty big, dude. Who looks like the next Arnold Schwarzenegger? Okay, so AOC, you're saying that a lot of men are depicted in a gender stereotypical way. It's that can be what can be said is kind of true. That's not necessarily false. So let's go on. We're gonna move on. So I think we've successfully voiced how these plot devices in the media can reduce women to a weaker status, thereby making them not heroes in their own right and more seen as objects as opposed to characters in a game that are they powerful themselves, that go out and do their own thing and have their own stories written about them. So the next thing we're gonna talk about is stereotyping and how that affects many women. We're gonna talk about the STEM field. So I mentioned that earlier. STEM fields are science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. So when we look at why, like, there's a lot of talk about women not being able to enter these fields because they either are outrightly excluded from them, they're like barred from entering. It's alleged allegedly men are blocking women from these fields by participating in sexist behavior that makes them either feel unwanted, underappreciated, or barred from entry, or dissuaded from entering. So in these specific fields of employment, there is a lot of allegations that there's disparagements in employment, and they're not able to join. They're not able to join these fields for these reasons, because they don't feel welcome. Because, like as I said, they don't feel welcome. They feel barred. They feel discouraged. They feel harassed. They feel like there isn't a place for them, or they're not wanted. It's like a all boys club. He-Man's woman's hater club, essentially, is what a lot of these allegations claim. Now, granted, this is a gross generalization of the issue. Not everyone says this, but there is this ongoing narrative in the media that this is going on, that women are being discriminated against from entering certain fields. We talk about, like, a lot of times, I'm pretty sure everybody has heard about, like, the gender pay gap, and there are arguments supporting those things, those opinions, whether you fall whatever side you fall on. So I have an article actually on this. And one of them is the Matt Taylor article that we reviewed earlier. So if you guys remember, when we were talking about Matt Taylor, he is the scientist this is the scientist and his team landed the satellite on the moving asteroid, comet, meteor, whatever it was, thousands of miles away from Earth, which was like an enormous feat for astrophysics and science. And space exploration, and they're already talking about mining asteroids and rare, obviously rare earth minerals that you can't find, or minerals that you cannot find on Earth, period, or that are so rare they're unobtainium almost. So they've already talked about mining. They're talking about colonizing Mars here with the next 50 years. It's talking about sending the first humans there. So it's really interesting how science is progressing. Now the man that we had talked about earlier, what was his name? His name was I keep forgetting his name. Matt Taylor. His shirt was seen as too sexual. So because he was wearing this shirt, which depicted women, sexy females, clad in scantily clad lingerie, that this was seen as sexist. This was called casual sexism. He wasn't being overtly sexist in the sense that he said that women were saying it's too the women that were opposed to this shirt were arguing that it was casually sexist and that it was wildly unprofessional for a man in the science for the science field to be wearing this shirt during a live broadcast of this amazing feat of science. They said it was incredibly insensitive of Matthew Taylor to wear this shirt, and it hurt their feelings, and that the scantily clad women, the women that were the over objectification on this women, this is the reason why this casual sexism is the reason why women are ran out of the STEM fields. So there are allegations that there's not enough women in science, because astrophysics or whatever, because of the fact that this kind of stuff happens. Men don't realize that they're harassing females in this kind of way, or they're hurting their feelings, or they're barring them away by participating in this kind of sexism. So that is one example of these gender stereotypes keeping females out of these STEM fields. So this casual sexism is playing into the fact that women are not allowed to participate in these fields because men are oppressing them from the fields, but either through harassment or through, like I said, devaluation or underappreciation or objectification, and they don't feel like it's fair. This is a article I found talking about the